Okay, picking up with the proverbs. Sorry, I only have 10 minutes on these videos. But proverbs are oral traditions of popular sayings. They used images of everyday life to express ideas or advice. And proverbs are not specific to West Africa. Lots of different cultures have their own proverbs, but one that would have come from West Africa was every time an old man dies, it is if a library has burnt down. And likely they would have said something like that because they put so much emphasis on oral tradition, right? So if they put so much emphasis on oral tradition, when someone dies, they know so much about that specific culture and area, and for them to die just means a lot of knowledge is being lost. I thought that was a really interesting, and you all know that I love books and history, so that kind of is a proverb that is connected to that. So last thing that we're going to talk about today is a written tradition. And yes, you don't have to write anything down on this slide. However, you still get to listen to my amazing voice. So written tradition would have come along with the spread of Islam. They put more of an emphasis on written tradition, as we saw earlier this week with laws. When we talk about the Sharia being written laws opposed to their customary laws that they had used previously. Writings were preserved in both mosques and Quranic schools, and if you know anything about West Africa and Timbuktu, you would have known that there are a lot of mosques and Quranic schools, because we just talked about this on Tuesday as well. And these places were key sources of information about history, legends, and culture. And honestly, guys, history, legends, and culture, that's a huge part of any society, of any region that you're a part of. Everybody has their own history, legends, and culture. So that's very important. So I have one brain break for you today. So remember my pictures, I led you up to we started with the river many, many months ago. So now this is the point where we got off the river. This is our first night off the river. And this is in Page, Arizona. And this is Lake Powell. Lake Powell, and this part of the lake is not super high. So it's really not a campground anymore, but we camp here for one night and we dry camp, and you can see the kids getting dinner ready and lunch for the next day ready. And it's a really cool kind of random place that we stay. It's either that this time it had some nice cloud coverage, but so it wasn't super hot. But a couple years ago when I went, it was so hot and the kids were so grumpy and it was not super fun. But this time was better. Okay. So this is Brer Rabbit. This is what, I don't know if any of you had those little Disney books when you were little, but I did. But this is the story of Brer Rabbit and the Tar Baby. And I just want to read you part of a Brer Rabbit story so you can kind of get the idea of what it sounds like. And it won't be super long, but I just want you to kind of hear what it is about. So let's read through this. Brer Rabbit and the Tar Baby. Well, now that rascal Brer Fox hated Brer Rabbit on account of he was always cutting capers and bossing everyone around. So Brer Fox decided to capture and kill Brer Rabbit if it was the last thing he ever did. He thought and he thought until he came up with a plan. He would make a tar baby. Brer Fox went and got some tar, and he mixed it with some turpentine, and he sculpted it into the figure of a cute little baby. Then he stuck a hat on the tar baby and sat her in the middle of the road. Brer Fox hid himself in the bushes near the road, and he waited and waited for Brer Rabbit to come along. At last he heard someone whistling and chuckling to himself, and he knew that Brer Rabbit was coming up over the hill. As he reached the top, Brer Rabbit spotted the cute little tar baby. Brer Rabbit was surprised. He stopped and stared at this strange creature. He had never seen anything like it before. "Good morning," said Brer Rabbit, doffing his hat. "Nice weather we're having." The tar baby said nothing. Brer Rabbit laid low and grinned an evil grin. Brer Rabbit tried again. "And how are you feeling this fine day?" The tar baby, she said nothing. Brer Fox grinned an evil grin and lay low in the bushes. Brer Rabbit frowned. This strange creature was not very polite. It was beginning to make him mad. said Brer Rabbit loudly, wondering if the tar baby was deaf. "I said, how are you this morning?" The tar baby said nothing. Brer Rabbit curled up into a ball to hide his laughter. His plan was working perfectly. "Are you deaf or just rude?" demanded Brer Rabbit, losing his temper. "I can't stand folks that are stuck up. You take off that hat and say howdy do, or I'm going to give you such a licking." The tar baby just sat in the middle of the road, looking as cute as a little button and saying nothing at all. Brer Rabbit rolled over and over under the bushes, fit to bust because he didn't dare laugh out loud. "I'll learn ya," Brer Rabbit yelled. He took a swing at the cute little tar baby, and his paw got stuck in the tar. "Let me go or I'll hit you again," shouted Brer Rabbit. The tar baby, she said nothing. "Fine, be that way," said Brer Rabbit, swinging at the tar baby with his free paw. Now both his paws were stuck in the tar, and Brer Fox danced with glee behind the bushes. "I'm going to kick the stuffing out of you," Brer Rabbit said, and pounced on the tar baby with both feet. They sank deep into the tar baby. Brer Rabbit was so furious he head-butted the cute little creature until he was completely covered with tar and unable to move. Brer Fox leapt out of the bushes and strolled over to Brer Rabbit. "Well, well, what have we here?" he asked, grinning with an evil grin. Brer Rabbit gulped. He was stuck fast. He did some fast thinking while Brer Fox rolled around on the road, laughing himself sick over Brer Rabbit's dilemma. "I've got you this time, Brer Rabbit," said Brer Fox, jumping up and shaking off the dust. "You've sassed me for the very last time. Now I wonder what I should do with you." Brer Rabbit's eyes got very large. "Oh, please, Brer Fox, whatever you do, please don't throw me into the briar patch." "Maybe I should roast you over a fire and eat you," mused Brer Fox. "No, that's too much trouble. Maybe I'll hang you instead." "Roast me, hang me, do whatever you please," said Brer Rabbit. "Oh, please, Brer Fox, don't throw me into the briar patch." "If I'm going to hang you, I'll need some string," said Brer Fox, "and I don't have any string handy. But the stream's not so far away, so maybe I'll drown you instead." "Drown me? Roast me? Hang me? Do whatever you please," said Brer Rabbit. "Only please, Brer Fox, please don't throw me into the briar patch." "The briar patch, eh?" said Brer Fox. "What a wonderful idea! You'll be torn into little pieces." Grabbing up the tar-covered rabbit, Brer Fox swung him around and then flung him head over heels into the briar patch. Brer Rabbit let out such a scream, and as he fell that all of Brer Fox's fur stood straight up. Brer Rabbit fell into the briar bushes with a crashing and a mighty thump. Then there was silence. Brer Fox cocked one ear toward the briar patch, listening for whimpers of pain, but he heard nothing. Brer Fox cocked the other ear toward the briar patch, listening for Brer Rabbit's death rattle. He heard nothing. Then Brer Fox heard someone calling his name. He turned around and looked up the hill. Brer Rabbit was sitting on a log, combing the tar out of his fur with a wood chip and looking smug. "I was bred and born in the briar patch, Brer Fox," he called. "Born and bred in the briar patch." And Brer Rabbit skipped away as merry as a cricket, while Brer Fox ground his teeth in rage and went home. What an interesting little story. So what I'd love for you to do before you start working on your Chapter 14 ISN, I want you to talk about the folktale that you just heard about Brer Rabbit, and I want you to be able to talk about it with me in class tomorrow. Yes, so you have the rest of the class period to work on Chapter 14. If the sub feels like you're not working, I have asked her to ask you guys to work silently. Remember, if I ask you to work silently, that is not optional. That is what is required of you. This is due Tuesday. And then before you leave today, make sure you stack the books neatly in the middle. 7th period, you need to put the books away. And then you need to pick up your trash, push in your desks, and stay in your seats until the bell rings. I will see you guys tomorrow.